Welcome to the Lior Cohen podcast, your gateway to reconnecting with your true self and living the life you were meant to live. Each week, we'll embark on a journey of self-discovery, healing, and deep connection with your intuition and inner wisdom. Through guided insights and reflections, you'll expand your consciousness, gain clarity on what's holding you back, and awaken to your passion and purpose. Get ready to break free from limitations and step into a life of creativity, abundance, joy, and inner peace.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast. We're already in our sixth session in this mindfulness series. Once again, joining me, Lior Cohen, a wellness coach and a guided meditation facilitator who specializes in helping people find calm, gain clarity, and reconnect with their inner selves through mindfulness, breathwork, and meditation. Lior worked with people from all walks of life, guiding them on their journey to emotional healing and a life filled with clarity and purpose. Hi, Lior, how are you doing?
Doing great. Excited to be here and continue our conversation.
Lior, I have to admit something. Since our last conversation, I haven't been able to shake what we talked about. It's really stayed with me. We touched on something that's been echoing in my mind ever since the concept of mental nutrition. Not just the thing we avoid, like in a typical physical diet, but what we choose to feed ourselves mentally and emotionally. I remember ending that conversation with a question that lingered. If there are things we should avoid, then what are the essential things we should nourish ourselves with? That question naturally led us to today's theme. It feels like a trailer for this episode, introducing two key ingredients for positive mental nourishment: acceptance and compassion. At the time, I said I could relate to compassion. I don't always manage to leave it out, but I can get it. I can feel it. But acceptance, that one landed differently. It stuck a nerve. Because to be honest, acceptance has always sounded, to me, a little too close to giving up. It's a tough word to digest. Think about it. We've all been in those moments, not necessarily full blown disaster, just a string of small frustration, a delay, a glitch, a snarky comment. You're already running low on patience, and then one more thing pushes you over the edge. And then you look around. You're in a public space or on a bus, in a waiting room, maybe in a plane, and everyone annoyed. And there is something validating in that, right? You think, yes, this is ridiculous. My reaction makes sense. But then there is always that one person, calm, smiling, like they're in a mindfulness ad, serene, unbothered. And I'll be honest, in those moments, I don't feel inspired by them. I feel like strangling them. How are they okay with this? Because I'm not. I don't want to accept it. And that's the part I wrestle, struggle with. How do you even do that? Because from where I'm standing, it feels almost impossible. And honestly, a little delusional.
You're absolutely right to bring this up. It is such a real, relatable experience, and your honesty opens the door for a deeper exploration of what mindfulness and acceptance really mean. Let's start with what you said. Our natural tendency is to resist, to push back when things don't go our way. You are not alone on that. In fact, that's the default response for most of us. When life doesn't match our plans, expectations, or desires, the instinct is to fight it mentally, emotionally, and even physically. But that resistance creates tension. It pulls our thought, emotions, and bodies into struggle. And the more we resist, the more the struggle tends to grow. So the fact that you have noticed that pattern in yourself and that you are questioning it is already a meaningful part of the practice. Now, you ask something important. Is acceptance the same as defeat? That's such a valuable question, and one I hear from many people just beginning to explore mindfulness.
The answer lies in a subtle but powerful shift in perspective. When I speak about acceptance, I don't mean giving up or agreeing with everything that's happening. I mean seeing things clearly, recognizing what is present in this moment without immediately going to war with it. Why does that matter? Because, as simple as it sounds, saying it is what it is a way of acknowledging reality. Resisting the truth doesn't change it, but recognize it does something quite powerful. It creates a space. That shift opens the door to clarity, to consciousness choice, and ultimately to a more grounded sense of freedom.
Okay, I think I'm following. You're not saying like it or want it, you're saying just recognize it.
Exactly. Acceptance is not approval, it's not giving up, and it's certainly not weakness. It's awareness without resistance. Take a common scenario: a long delay at the airport, a baby crying on a crowded plane, and the heat is unbearable. One path is resistant. You tense up, join the collective, frustration. Okay. Exactly. Accepted. Exactly. Acceptance is not approval. It's not giving up, and it's certainly not a weakness. It's awareness without resistance. Take a common scenario: a long delay at the airport, a baby crying on a crowded plane, and the heat is unbearable. One path is resistance. You tense up, join the collective frustration, maybe curse under your breath, your muscles tighten, your chest feels heavy, you feel stuck, irritated. But here is an alternative path, a mindful one. You pause, you acknowledge, wow, I'm really uncomfortable right now. You let yourself feel it without trying to fix or judge it. You simply notice. And here's the shift. The storms start to settle, not because anything outside of you has changed, but because your relationship with it has. Your internal response has softened. That space between what happens and how you choose to respond, that's where freedom begins.
Okay, that sounds beautiful in theory, but even when I do try to soften or to let go, I still feel this strong need to protest. Not resist necessarily, but protest, like isn't right, or this isn't fair, this is messing up my day. I'm aware I can control the situation. I'm not trying to change it in that moment, but I want to give myself permission to be upset, like it frees something in me.
That's such an important distinction, and I'm really glad you brought this up. The urge to speak out, to name injustice or discomfort, to stand up against what feels unfair, that's deeply a human response. Mindfulness doesn't take that way. It doesn't silence your voice or stop you from acting. What it does is shape how you act. It helps you respond with clarity rather than react from impulse. In fact, many people who practice mindfulness are also passionate activists, people who care deeply and take meaningful action. The goal isn't to suppress that energy, but to direct it from a grounded, intentional place rather than a reactive one. Let's say you are in a hot, crowded plane, feeling deeply uncomfortable. Practicing mindfulness doesn't mean you stay silent or passive. You can still advocate for yourself, ask for help, or speak up, but you do it with awareness. You create an internal pause. The pause becomes a buffer between the emotion and the action, giving you the power to choose your response rather than to be swept away by it. I've experienced the shift personally. In the past, I used to react intensely in a situation I didn't like, especially after disagreement or a conflict. For example, if I had a tense exchange with a colleague, I would respond emotionally without taking a moment to reflect. But discovering mindfulness changed all that. Now, I can catch myself, take a breath, observe what's happening, and then choose a response that is more thoughtful and aligned with how I want to show up.
So, what you're saying is acceptance comes first, and then the decision to act.
Yes, acceptance is the first step. It opens up the space within us. And in that space, we can pause, listen, breathe, feel, and then choose how to respond. When we skip that pause and move straight from discomfort to action, what we're doing actually isn't true action. It's reaction. It's survival mode. It's a gut level reflex. But when we take even a brief moment to sit with this discomfort, something shifts. We create space. And in that space, we reconnect with our full capacity, our clarity, our emotional intelligence, and our compassion. That's where wise action begins.
That makes sense, but I wonder for people who are really advanced in this, like truly mindful people, is there a risk of becoming too neutral, too accepting, like they just absorb everything and lose the drive to make a change or to stand up for themselves?
That's a great question. And yes, it can be a concern. There is a fear that deep acceptance might lead to passivity. But here's the truth: very few people reach that level of detachment. And even when they do, they usually have an awareness to self correct. Mindfulness doesn't erase your instincts, it heightens your awareness of them. And if you ever feel like you're becoming too passive, mindfulness will help you notice that too. Think of it's like a thermostat. Mindfulness helps you to regulate, not shut off. It allows you to say, wait, am I withdrawing too much? Am I avoiding rather than engaging? And then you can adjust.
I like that image, a thermostat. And I love the idea of space. The word keeps coming up, like creating space within ourselves for discomfort, for awareness, for choice.
Exactly. That brings to mind a poem by Rumi, a Persian poet from the 13th century, known for his mystical teaching and passionate poetry. One of his most well known poems, The Guest House, beautifully illustrates how we can shift our perspective when facing uncomfortable situations or difficult emotions. It offers a powerful metaphor for learning to welcome all our experiences, even the ones that challenge us. This being a human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a deep. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meaningless. Some momentary awareness comes as unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes. Rumi teaches that being human is like hosting a guest house. Every day, a new emotion arrives: joy, sadness, anger, fear, but each one is just a visitor. We don't have to become them, we can welcome them, learn from them, and then let them move on. The key is to stop identifying with our thoughts and emotions. When we feed thoughts like, "This always happens to me," "I'm cursed," "Why do bad things happen to me?" we are reinforcing a narrative that deepens our suffering. But if we can greet each experience as temporary, just like a visitor passing through, we begin to ease that unnecessary pain and create space for healing.
Thank Lior, this is such a powerful insight. So, acceptance isn't passivity, it's awareness. It's the foundation for conscious action.
Exactly. It allows you to ask, what is the reality of this moment? What is the right thing for me to do right now? What am I choosing? Real power isn't controlling what happens. It's the way we choose to meet with whatever comes to our reality.
That really gives me a lot to think about. And honestly, while we were talking, I just got an SMS that instantly stressed me out. A perfect reminder that life doesn't pause. Maybe this is my moment to practice acceptance in real time.
Beautiful. That's a practice right there, not in an ideal condition, but in the middle of real life. We're already creating the bridge between awareness and action.
As we wrap up today's episode, I want to invite our listeners to take a moment to reflect on everything we explored. Acceptance isn't about giving up, it's about making space for what is, so we can respond with clarity instead of chaos. This conversation reminded me that acceptance isn't passive, it's active. It takes real courage to stop resisting every uncomfortable moment and instead ask, how can I meet this with presence and grace? Lior, thank you for offering us a new lens through which we view discomfort, struggle, and our own reactions. Before we close, would you walk us through a short and simple practice we can use anytime we're feeling discomfort?
I will be happy to. This is a short mindfulness practice to help you connect with the space between resistance and acceptance. Before we get started, a few tips. Find a quiet place with no distractions. Recommend using an eye cover and keeping a bottle of water within arm reach. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position, either seated. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position, either seated or lying down. Let your hands rest gently on your lap. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position, either seated or laying down. Let your hands rest gently on your lap. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position, either seated or laying down. Let your hands rest gently on your laps by your side. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position, either seated or laying down. Let your hands gently rest on your lap or whatever feels most natural. And if it feels safe, softly close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath In through the nose and exhale gently through your mouth. Let's do that again. Breathing in and let it go. And once more, a full, nourishing breath in and a soft release out. Now, gently bring your awareness to your body. Notice the places where you're making contact with the ground or the surface you're resting on. Feel the support underneath you. Notice the weight of your body being held. Allow yourself to settle there. Bring your attention inward and notice if there's any areas of tension or tightness. You don't need to fix or change anything. You don't need to fix or change anything. Just become aware. You don't need to fix or change anything. Just become aware. Be the gentle observer. And now, softly say to yourself, it is what it is, right here, right now. Maybe it's a physical maybe it's a physical sensation, a tight jaw, a heavy chest, or a fluttering in the belly. Maybe it's an emotion, frustration, tiredness, sadness, or peace. Maybe it's a thought. I wish this moment were different. Or I should be. Maybe it's a physical sensation, a tight jaw, a heavy chest, or tense in the belly. Maybe it's a physical sensation, a tight jaw, a heavy chest, or tension in the belly. Maybe it's an emotion, frustration, tiredness, sadness, or peace. Maybe it's a thought. I wish this moment was different. Or I should be doing something else. Whatever is present, just notice it without judgment. And now gently say, I see you. I allow you. Let yourself sit with fine. Let yourself sit with that feeling or thought for a few breaths. Not pushing it away, not clinging to it, just being it. This is acceptance. This is presence. With each inhale, breathe in presence. With each exhale, release resistance. Inhale, I'm here. Exhale, I let go. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just come back to this breath, this moment, this inhale, this exhale. Take one more breath. Take one more slow breath. Take one more slow, deep breath in. Hold it for a moment and gently exhale. Begin to bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel yourself arriving back into the space around you. And when you're ready, softly open your eyes. As you move back into your day, remember this. You don't need to control every moment. You only need to meet it with kindness. As you move back into your day, remember this. You don't need to control every moment. You only need to meet it with kindness, with breath, with space. And now pay attention to what are you more aware of.
Thank you, Lior. That was truly powerful. And to all of you listening, we invite you to try this the next time you feel overwhelmed. Not to perfect it, just to practice. That's really what mindfulness is, a gentle return.
In the next episode, I'm going to share something deeply personal, my own journey of self discovery and reconnecting with my true self. Here's the reality: most people don't really know who they truly are at their core. And when we are disconnected from our authentic self, we can easily find ourselves on a life path that doesn't align with who we are and what we truly value. So, on the next conversation, we will unpack this powerful and important topic, one that I believe is fundamental to our long-term happiness and well-being as humans, especially in these challenging times. I'll take you through the challenges I faced, the lesson I learned, and how I found my way back to myself. You don't want to miss that.
Thank you, Lior, for sharing that. I'm sure our listeners are looking forward to hearing your personal story in the next episode. As for me, this will be my last episode in this series. I've learned so much throughout this podcast journey on mindfulness. It's truly opened my mind to a whole new way of looking at my thoughts, feelings, and how to navigate life's challenges with more ease. If you're new to this podcast, I invite you to go back and start from episode 1 and experience the full series. And in this content is resonate with you, please consider leaving a review and sharing this episode with a friend or family member who you feel could benefit from it. If you want to learn more about Lior's work, please check his website, leorcohen.coach. The link will be posted in the podcast description. Thank you so much to all our listeners. It's been a pleasure. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Lior Cohen podcast, your gateway to reconnecting with your true self and living the life you were meant to live. Join us every week for a new episode filled with insights and practical tools to help you grow, heal, and step into the best version of yourself. Until next time, stay present and keep trusting your inner wisdom.